If someone told you the desert was always warm, they lied. With nights dipping into the teens and daytime wind chill hovering in the high 20s, living in a vehicle requires some grit, perhaps more than I have.
Good morning. All right, let's get this car started. It's cold.
Hi, I'm Christine. After starting life over in 2020, I'm using seasonal work to build financial security, experience new places, and most importantly, keep living life as a big adventure. Come along as I live like a local in desired destinations, spend time in nature hiking, backpacking, and living out of my car, and craft the trips of my dreams on a backpacker's budget.
Good morning from a McDonald's parking lot. I splurged and got myself a Egg McMuffin meal this morning. Got a nice warm coffee here. I already ate my meal, and I don't eat ham, so I gave the ham to a res dog that's hanging out nearby because I am on reservation land here. I just pulled up last night and stayed right outside of town, and actually stayed pretty warm last night even though it was below freezing. I think a trick to that might have been that I was driving into the evening and I had the heater on in the car, and then immediately when I pulled over I just put up all the window shades and didn't like open the car and let all the cold air come in or anything, and I stayed quite a bit warmer last night. It might be a trick to consider for the future. Out here in the desert, I gotta stay on top of keeping my skincare, my skin moisturized, because like this morning I already busted my finger open, and I know it was just being very sensitive because of how cold and dry it is here. I'm also trying to make sure that I stay hydrated for all of that. I have been through here once before in 2020, and I haven't been back since. So yeah, it's gonna be nice to be able to see it again. And I know it won't be busy because it's cold and everybody's somewhere else, which is kind of a nice thing too. She says, "Are you gonna feed me?" I'm prone to feeling kind of sad about the dog being out here, but I will say, as I've been sitting here enjoying my coffee, a lot of people have been feeding her, so I think she's pretty well fed. Hopefully she stays warm enough.
There is a world waiting outside our door. It stands uncharted. Oh, how it longs to be uncovered by us all. It's boundless wonder. The open air invites each one of us to find unbroken ground. Here and now, it calls out, come along. Now nothing's in a way of now. Feel it in a place. We are the wonders we are. We are the wonders we are. Born to take it all.
I had been thinking all these years that I had been to Monument Valley before, and it wasn't until I got here that I realized that I have never been here before. And I think I wanted to come through here during COVID times in 2020, but the Navajo Nation is a sovereign nation, and everything here was closed. It was totally locked down. You couldn't get into anything. So I drove through the general area and I visited some landscapes that were similar. I definitely have not been here before.
The cost of entry to Monument Valley was $8 for me. There's a small visitor center, large gift shop, and a hotel. The visitor center explores some history of the Navajo connection to these lands, but also goes into great detail about the Navajo code talkers. During World War II, the Navajo code talkers played a vital role in the Allied victory. These brave Navajo men developed an unbreakable code based on their native language, using it to transmit critical military messages. Their unique contributions helped the U.S. secure key battles, including Iwo Jima, without the code ever being deciphered. Honored as heroes, the Code Talkers demonstrated extraordinary courage and showcased the profound importance of Navajo culture in shaping history.
The sign when I came in said that the Scenic Drive is for 4x4 only, but I did ask the attendant and she said I would be fine. I mean, I have all-wheel drive on my vehicle with a decent amount of clearance, so to some extent all-wheel drive can serve purposes similar to 4x4, so I think it will be fine for this.
Out in the wild, past the places that we've known, the deep and endless. Forward we go, ever farther, ever bold, no edge, no borders. Roaming on, the wind sings gently with a sweet and haunting sound. Here and now, it calls out, come along. Now nothing's in the way, oh now. Feeling the veins, we are the wonders we are. We are the wonders.
I'm so happy. This is so cool. I love this kind of landscape. It's probably some of my favorite. This and looking at like glacier capped mountains. It's just so incredible. I'm so happy.
Monument Valley, with its towering sandstone buttes, was formed over millions of years. Once a vast seabed under the Gulf of Mexico, layers of sedimentary rock built up and then were lifted by tectonic forces, creating the Colorado Plateau. Erosion from wind, water, and ice impact the different layers of sandstone uniquely, creating the mesas, buttes, and spires we see today.
The road is actually not bad, but if you're unsure of your abilities or just frankly don't have a car that you want to take out here, there are plenty of opportunities to book tours. During high season, I imagine you want to book in advance, but for example, today in the visitor center parking lot, there were tour guides just kind of on standby waiting and hired for a tour. So that would be another way to see this, and I'm sure it would provide so much more information and detail and just be a really fun experience. It's not usually in my budget to hire tour guides when I'm traveling, especially domestically. I've done it much more frequently when I'm international traveling, but whenever I have, it has always felt so worth the money just because of the well-rounded experience, all of the information, and just kind of the fun environment that guides usually encourage.
I built a tower to the sky.
Continue on Valley of the Gods Road, half a mile.
Tried to get to heaven, but all I got was tongue-tied. I stretched my wings out to the sun. fell into the ocean. 'Cause all of my worst ideas start with me trying to put myself up where you are.
I feel like it wasn't that cold, and now here I am shivering.
I have sown all of my worst ideas, always end with me singing hallelujah. I've been saved by grace again. By grace again.
Yes, it's soft.
Alright, it doesn't look the most appetizing, but I'm sure it's gonna taste pretty good. I got a little tearful when I saw the ravens, so that's why I look like this. Oh, that's delicious. It's so beautiful out here. This campsite is amazing. La 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 la. Just doing my dishes in the car. I just couldn't bear to be out in the cold. The wind picked up, so the wind plus with the setting sun, it's pretty chilly. And then I tried to stay out because I just feel so silly spending this time in the car. But, you know, if I was out here with a trailer or a van, I wouldn't even give it a second thought about being indoors. It's just that my indoor space is super small, and so I feel like I should be outside, but I don't have to be. If it just means I'm gonna be cold. I'm gonna head out in a little bit and go hiking. I'm actually in Utah now, and so I'm going to go up to Natural Bridges National Monument? Natural Bridges National Monument, I think, and go do some hiking there. Oh no. I'm actually really excited to head out and go hiking today. I'm gonna go someplace really cool. So yeah, that's exciting. And I was just thinking, it actually feels really nice out right now. I feel like I complain about how cold it is so often, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that it feels amazing.
finally got a couple of pancakes out of all that. Just enjoying my waffles with this fruit-only unsweetened pumpkin butter that I got when I was up in Julian. This is a great pre-hike breakfast. Pre-hike breakfast. I have made it back to paved roads. I am on top of the plateau, and I have to say, like, that is one of my most favorite drives. I have actually driven it before, just going down. This is my first time driving it going up. My car handled really well. It's not necessarily the easiest road, but I only passed one other car, and just the views were absolutely stunning. That whole area, the Valley of the Gods campground, or it's not even campground, it's just BLM land, where they have dispersed campsites. That's probably one of my most favorite places that I've ever camped. And that drive that I just did was so exhilarating and beautiful. And now I'm up here on the mesa. I think I have about 45 minutes more of driving until I get to Natural Bridges. So I'm just going to enjoy this open road and cruise on down. I'm the only car in the parking lot. And I drove for an hour and only passed 4 cars. Down in the canyon. You can see some ice right here, actually. Right there. I have my microspikes. Made aware of that at the visitor center, so I took some time to fish my microspikes out of my backpacking gear that was up in my roof box. It's not a bad thing for me to be carrying around in my hiking backpack while I'm in this region anyway, this time of year, so time worth spending to do that, most certainly. I need to keep moving because the day is going to get past me and I don't want to be hiking out in the dark. But I want to take a second to talk about what we're seeing here in this kind of crusty earth. This is actually called cryptobiotic soil crust, and it does contain living organisms. It's actually really important to these desert environments because it's what can help enrich this otherwise very nutrient lacking soil, and it can help these plants grow. And what's good about having the plants grow is that it helps with preventing erosion, because when you have erosion in deserts like this, sand gets picked up, it gets incorporated into the atmosphere, and then it'll get deposited in places where it doesn't really belong. One example of stuff like that happening is sometimes, like, you'll see in the Alps, they'll have like a orange snow, and that is because sand has been picked up by trade winds from the Sahara Desert and actually deposited into into the atmosphere and comes down with the snow there. And that happens in the US too, but when we're talking about it traveling from Africa to Europe, I think it kind of drives the point home of how far that sand can actually travel. And so my point in mentioning it is there is an initiative, a Leave No Trace initiative called Don't Bust the Crust. And that means you don't want to be stepping on non-durable surfaces, especially if it is cryptobiotic soil crust.
So traveling through the desert on sandstone or even loose sand is totally appropriate, but just don't bust the crust. That being said, if you do find yourself in a cross-country route situation in the desert and it's unavoidable to bust the crust, unlike when traversing through, say, a fragile meadow where it is recommended for a group to fan out, that way footsteps are being dispersed and the impact is less on the plants. If you're doing it in the desert, you should create one set of footprints for your entire group and just all hit the same spot, because that cryptobiotic soil crust takes about 20 years to form. Water crossing. I'm looking for where I might see carvings. Okay, I think I only see one petroglyph for sure. Let's see, get a closer look and then maybe I'll see more. And for context, what I'm looking at is all right in this area here. So we've got the bridge here. I think there might be some stuff I'm seeing faintly over there, but it's kind of obstructed. I took a slightly wrong turn. I started walking up the wash instead of on the trail. It's fine, I'm parallel to the trail, but I just came across a dead raven. That makes me sad. Avert your eyes. I'm sorry. I wouldn't say that I necessarily view ravens as my spirit animal, but I view them as my friends. So that kind of makes me sad. Circle of life, I suppose. That I was going to look for camp. Well, I got distracted. I realized that I was driving right past a trailhead of a very short hike. It's less than 2 miles round trip, and it's something that I've wanted to do for years. And I actually kind of didn't realize like how close it was. So anyway, that's what we're doing. That's the final stretch. Ooh, we can already see. Oh. So, this structure is called House on Fire because when the sun hits this part, these look like flames. We obviously missed the sun. It's all the way up there now. I don't know what time of day you have to get it to see the flames, but I've seen some images of it online. It looks pretty cool. But either way, it's always really cool to see these ruins.
Calling this a house on fire is a bit of a misnomer. This is actually believed to be an ancient Puebloan granary, which was a structure used to store grains and other food staples. Located in Mule Canyon, this structure gets its name from the striking effect of sunlight on the sandstone above, creating an appearance resembling flames.
Get a clearer picture of what we're looking at this way, but it's just striations of different layers of sandstone exposed that create the different colors. Well, I'm gonna call this camp for tonight. I'm gonna show you around just really quickly, and then I'm gonna put the camera away for the rest of the night. Just been a lot of filming the last couple of days, and I think I'll just spend the evening relaxing. This area is called Comb Wash. It is BLM land. There's a ton of sites all throughout here, and there are some pit toilets as well. I think the closest one to me is back over